Hi, and welcome to my new Let's Play of Demon Souls. Demon Souls was a game released by From Software for the PlayStation 3 only back in 2009. Demon Souls is a spiritual successor to From's other game series, Shadow Tower and Kingsfield, and carries on the same ideals of slow, methodical combat, not really high octane, action oriented, resource management, and, in essence, punishing you for failing. In these games, if you die, you lose a lot physically, but gain a lot mentally. And that's the general theme of these games. Well, now, I don't know about you guys, but when I first saw that intro, it got me really excited about this game. Now, although say we're playing on New Game Plus 4, we have to start a new game in order to see the tutorial. And we get to log into Demon Souls' claim to fame, its online features. But more on that later. First, we have to create a character. Now, we're only really going to be using this guy for the tutorial, so I'm just going to do this real fast. But we do need a name. You know, I think Lazarus, for the way that I'll be dying and coming back, is a pretty good name for our guy. I will of course be playing as male because I'm male myself and I generally like male characters. I also like sword and board style of fighting, so I'll take the knight. I generally don't focus too much on face models and stuff like that, so I just random until I see something I like. Let's make him old, make him male. What kind of hair? Something shaggy. Ah, there you go. I like it. And I generally like white hair. Just makes him look wise to the world. Enjoy the intro.
King Aland XII, by channeling the power of souls, brought unprecedented prosperity to his northern kingdom of Boletaria. That is, until the colorless deep fog swept across the land. Boletaria was cut off from the outside world, and those who dared penetrate the deep fog never returned. But Valarfax of the royal twin fangs broke free from the fog and told the world of Boletaria's plight. That the old King Alant had aroused the Old One, the great beast below the Nexus, from its eternal slumber, and that a colorless fog had swept in, unleashing terrible demons. The demons hunt down men and claim their souls. Those who lose their souls also lose their minds. The mad attack the sane, and chaos reigns. Valarfax spoke of the enticing power of the demon souls. Each time a demon claims a human soul, the demon's own soul is invigorated by the life force, and the power of a mature demon soul is beyond human imagination. The legend spread quickly. Mighty warriors were drawn to the accursed land, but none have returned. Bjor of the Twin Fangs, Yurt the Silent Chief, Sage Urbane, Skurver the Wanderer, the Sixth Saint Astraea and her knight Garl Vinland, and Sage Frake the Visionary. The colorless deep fog slowly creeps beyond Boletaria's borders. Humankind faces a slow and steady extinction. The deep fog will eventually swallow all lands, near and far. But Boletaria has one final hope. A lone warrior who has braved the baneful fog. Has the land found its savior? Or have the demons found a new slave?
And, well, of course we're playing the tutorial. Also, these are the loading screens. They generally just show characters you'll meet, and I'll be cutting them out later.
Brave soul who fears not death. I shall guide you. So that you may lull the Old One back to slumber.
And now we are in the world proper. And since we are, let me finally actually welcome you to Let's Play Demon Souls. That's the emote menu that you bring up by holding down the X button. A little weird method to bring it up. And in front of me here, you'll see our first message. A developer message, but a message nonetheless. Teaching us how to do our standard attack by hitting R1. It's just a quick way, it doesn't use up too much stamina, which is that green bar. Red being our health, and blue being our magic. As a melee class, we didn't really start with magic. You can hold the circle button in order to run, but again, as being a heavy armored class, we run a little slow. L1 will guard against attacks. Usually a very useful thing to do. If your shield is good enough, enemies will actually bounce off and give you an opportunity to counter. You can click in the right stick in order to lock on the enemies and use the right stick to switch between them. You'll notice that we were hitting that guy on the left. Your swings are actually pretty wide with some weapons, and you can hit multiple enemies. Once again, just showing off that blocking against attack really works pretty well. Here we have our first item pickup. Just a quick hit of the X button will give us a new item in our inventory. Another healing item. The moon grasses are your heals for the game and progress from a crescent moon to a full moon, and then new and dark being the best. You can hit square to use your healing items or your items, and let's just heal that damage we just took. The circle button not pressed quickly will do dodges. As a fat roller, heavy armor, we have a very slow dodge, but our backstep is still the same speed. And what I was trying to show off there is, well, this. If you backstep and then attack, you'll actually do a different attack, generally stronger and just a different animation. Some of them can be fairly good. There you can see it does a lot more damage than our standard attack. This game is very pretty looking, but seems to be something over here. An archstone. And yes, let's move on to the new zone. You won't actually be finding that many archstones like that in levels. In fact, I believe the tutorial is the only place that has warping archstones. R2 allows you to do a strong attack. These are generally do a lot more damage than your normal and have special animations to them, which you can use to your advantage. For instance, our sword strong attack is a lunge. By hitting R2, L2, you can parry, and a successful parry will result in a riposte. And well, I mean, do I really need to say more? Not only does it look cool, but you do a lot more damage than you normally would. That was about 200, and I think our normal does 40. Here we have a Blue Eyes Knife. These are your mini bosses, so to speak, of this zone. They're quite strong. They do a lot of damage to you. And they can take a beating. They also recover very quickly and have shields themselves. But parry will take anybody out. I'm sorry, it's a little bit of a lie. It won't outright kill everybody, but I mean, come on. You saw that. Hitting triangle will allow you to dual wield your weapon, and this kind of changes the way buttons work. Both your L and both your L1 and L2 buttons become a block. You don't have a parry anymore. However, what in essence this does is it gives you half more of your strength. Let me explain that. Say you have 12 strength, this will give you 18 strength, which of course makes you do more damage, and your two-handed strikes are generally stronger to begin with. So if you want to deal a lot of damage and you feel you can dodge, two-hand your weapon. There you just saw my guard actually get broken, and I was fed up with this point at dual wielding. I was trying to get a backstab, but it wasn't working, and you know, I'm just done with this. So much easier to parry than backstab at times. Some people can't get the timing for parrying down. I feel on anything wielding a generic weapon, it's pretty easy to see the attacks coming. Now you can't parry everything. Generally only things that are humanoid. Ah, right. We do actually have different equips and items. Here you see some better healing items and some status healing items. And we have what is called a mail breaker. It is a thrusting weapon. And thrusting weapons have a very interesting property to them. And that is that you can attack while guarding. You see here, I am hitting this guy and my guard isn't actually going down. If I were to get attacked again, if I wasn't stun locking him, I would actually guard his attack. And here I just showed off again real quick. Thrusting weapons are generally really good for beginners because, of course, you can attack while guarding. But I feel they deplete your stamina too fast because your stamina doesn't recover as fast when you're guarding. Also back there we picked up a soul item. They are just items that give you more souls. Souls being the currency and experience of this game. And you know, as much as I think thrusting weapons are cool and interesting, They don't do enough damage for me. So I'm switching back to my longsword. Behind this crossbowman, you see a fog door. Fog doors are generally your checkpoints, and they're also, well, boss doors. And here I'm showing off the inventory real quick, just the items we have. This is the equip menu, and this is the status menu. There's also the tendency menu, and the options. Tendency is a very weird thing, and there's going to be an entire video series dedicated to that stuff. It's just bizarre in the way it works. Well, it's not bizarre, it's just obtuse is a better word I would say. Once you know how it works, it's pretty easy to understand, but before then, no. There's some hidden items over here. Also, I always think that there's going to be hidden items on that one shelf in the last room, but it's just never there. You know, you have to roll over to get across to it. It just seems like there should be something there. And I'm going to heal up real quick because, as I mentioned before, boss doors. Through here is the tutorial boss. Now, you're going to see me do something right here. I'm actually de-equipping a lot of my stuff to lower my equip burden to 50% of my maximum equip burden. This will give me fast rolls and better stamina recovery because I don't have heavy armor weighing me down. And I'm just trying to min-max what I have. Yeah, that seems good to me. If only I could get an extra 0.5 off, I could put the helmet on too. Here you see fast roll and fast back steps. A lot better than the fat roll, as we like to call it. Now through here, we have our tutorial boss, who 9 times out of 10 kills beginners. You're not expected to win. Well, you can, but you're expected to die. Here, the Vanguard. The Vanguard is, well, he's fat. He's also slow. Your general strategy is to get behind him and just wail on his butt. He only has one attack that can hit behind him, and it's this little flutter thing. And it has a pretty big lead up to it, so as long as you get around, if you back up a little bit, you're not going to be hit by it. Now his axe swings, on the other hand, well, I'm a knight with armor, so I'm not going to die instantly, but a lot of classes will actually die to one hit. What you generally want to do is move towards the way that he's swinging, and if you don't look like you're going to get behind him, do a quick roll. The roll has invincibility periods, so you can actually get underneath his axe. Also, it's kind of like a duck. But the big name of the game in this tutorial boss fight is choosing your battles. You don't want to commit to anything. And oh, yeah, right there. You see, I kind of didn't circle around fast enough. He actually did a really fast pivot, and he nicked me. Only a nick, and it almost killed me. Now this is his most dangerous attack. He swings twice, and you know, you're generally not expecting those two swings, so like all of his other attacks are a single swing. So sometimes that second swing can kill you. And this is another thing that can happen. Sometimes he can get really close to a wall, which makes circling around him kind of hard to do. I get lucky here and squeeze between them. But if he ever gets too close, sometimes you might just want to back away and see if you can get him to attack that direction, or walk towards you and just kind of shift him away from the wall. Now, as I was saying before, the whole key point of this boss fight is choose when to swing properly. You see here, I just kind of go in, 2 hits, back off, 2 hits, back off. I don't commit too hard. The Souls games are a lot more about not taking damage than doing a lot of damage. Now, that's not to say you can't make builds that are just bursty. That's what spellcasting is. But if you're a melee and you know this guy can kill you, you want to go towards a more hidden away strategy than committing to doing a lot of damage at once. Hey, if you don't die, that just means it gives you more time to kill him. And with that, the Vanguard is dead. Now I'm going to give a quick celebration to our victory. And let's put our armor back on. And while we're putting the armor on, I want you to notice something. Watch how many souls I get. 498. That's over 3 times the amount we had. That's what killing a boss can do for you. Well, actually, no, it's not over 3. It's just about, a little under 3. You also get a demon's soul every time you defeat a boss. These can be used either as items to give you a good number of souls, or you can hold on to them, and you can either buy spells, upgrade weapons. They're generally just really good, and they're, you know, kind of a trophy for what you've done. It's not easy to beat a demon, and you get a good reward for it. Now, in front of us we see another very scary demon. I bet you his soul's very strong. But the real reward for beating the Vanguard is what you get in this area. There's a number of full moon grasses, which I've already stated are very, very good healing items, especially in your first playthrough. And I've already explained, you know, as you progress through the phases of a moon, the healing items become better. But also right here, you can get some upgrade stones, which can make your first level a lot easier. And also some very good soul items. Now, I do want to take this demon down. I want him, and I want his soul. I want you, buddy. So let's just charge right in.